Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Hutchinson City Council meeting for Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll approve the council agenda. Any agenda additions or corrections?
Mayor, Council, I don't have any additions or corrections for you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Dave to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They'll say nay. Motion carries. Invocations from Riverside Church. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is cool. I get a microphone.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Is this your brother, Chad? You guys look almost doppelganger.
No.
Sorry, you look just like Chad.
There's some resemblance. There is.
Did you ride bicycles here? That could be a giveaway.
No. I rode a GMC here.
He looks like Adam Johnson, the UPS guy in town. If you know Adam, he's a real dog. Yeah, you're the same.
No, it's an honor to be here and to participate in this. For you guys that don't know, I'm relatively new to the community. I've been here before in the past, but have moved to the community here just within the last year, last June. So it's an honor to be able to do this. Romans 13 says that leadership, in all the leadership is put into place by God. So it's an honor that you guys have been placed here for such a time as this, all of you, all of us. But it's my honor to pray for you guys, to pray for this meeting, but to pray for you individually as well. So at this time, I'd like to do that. Heavenly Father, we pray over this meeting, over each one of these council members, over our mayor, over our administrator, over our attorney, over all the help, everybody that's participating to help make this thing go, to make Hutchinson a great place to live. God, I pray that you would guide their decisions, that you would give them wisdom, that you would give them the ability to have good discernment and to make right choices for the good of all the people that live within this great area to be. God, I pray that they would have that wisdom, that you would provide that you would guide them, that you would keep them, you bless their families, and that you bless this community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recognition of gifts, donations, and community service to the city. Does anyone have anything tonight? Alrighty, moving on to public comment. Citizens addressing the council, just please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Alrighty, approval of minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes of March 24th, 2026. The joint meeting of March 31st, 2026.
I make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Pat to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Carries. Consent agenda will be done with one motion unless somebody pulls something off for discussion. A is approval of resolution number 16019, resolution to dispose of surplus creekside property. B is approval of resolution number 16020, resolution accepting bids and awarding contract for the Franklin Site Improvement Project Phase 2, letting number 4, project number 26-04. C is approval of resolution number 16023, a resolution approving plans and specification and ordering advertisement for bid for the Hutchinson Area Transportation Service roof membrane replacement. D is approval of resolution number 16024, resolution approving plans and specification and ordering advertisement for bid for the airport snow removal equipment shed. E is consideration for approval of resolution number 16025, resolution approving an artificial intelligence AI policy for the city of Hutchinson. F is approval of non-waiver of tort liability limits for the general liabilities. G is approval of issuing massage license to Amanda Baker for Heavenly Balance located at 35 Main Street North. H is approval liquor store overflow parking lot repair. I is approval of joint powers agreement with the McLeod County for Southwest Stormwater Resiliency Project. J is approval of issuing parade permits for the Memorial Day Parade on May 25th, 2026. K is approval of Dairy Day celebration on June 5th, 2026 in Library Square. L is consideration for approval of the 2026 JC Water Carnival request. M is approval of issuing temporary liquor license to the River Song Music Festival on July 11th and 10th. See that? Went backwards on that. That's all right. 2026 and claims appropriation and contract payment. Is there anything anybody wants pulled off?
I would like L pulled, please.
All righty.
Then I would make a motion to accept the balance or approve the balance.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Pat. Move the balance. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both say nay. Motion carries. Chad.
So in years past, we've had the Commodore, if they came to the meeting, just to give us a little water carnival update when we approved their requests and things. And I see that the Commodore is in the audience tonight, so I'd like to give her that opportunity if that's okay with you.
That would be great.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Leah Camrat, and I am the.
What is your address?
My address is 549 Main Street South.
Thank you.
And I am the Commodore for the 2026 83rd Annual Hutchinson Water Carnival. Our festival will run from June 14th, starting with our walleye fishing tournament on the Crow River, and it will end June 21st with the Miss Hutchinson coronation, fireworks, and live music down at the river. Some notes for the 2026 festival celebration that are different this year are due to the holiday that weekend. We have moved our Miss Hutchinson pageant to be on Saturday night instead of Friday night, still hosted at the Hutchinson High School Auditorium. And because of the date change and some other logistics with the weekend, we're including our junior royalty coronation within that pageant. So people that come to the pageant will see the junior royalty coronation along with the Miss Hutchinson pageant. And then we also have moved our Community Day festivities to be rain or shine at the Hutchinson Middle School. If it's raining, we can be in the gym, and if it's shining, we can be in the grassy area outside the pool. And this also will move our cardboard boat race to be at the Carlson pool instead of down in the river that day. Those are kind of our big updates for 2026. We're super excited. Our committee's working hard, and we have just a really dedicated group of people. It's a pleasure to lead them and lead alongside them. So thank you for all that you do for our festival.
All right.
Thanks for the update.
Thank you for the update. And with that, I would make a motion to approve their requests.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Dave to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both say nay. Motion carries. Public hearing. We have the 2026 secured in place pipelining project letting number 5, project number 26-05. We have two resolutions underneath there. We have resolution number 16021, resolution ordering improvement and preparation of plans and specifications, and resolution number 16022, resolution approving plans and specifications and ordering advertisements for bid.
Thank you, Mayor and Council and members of the public. I'm Brandon Braithwaite, the city engineer. This is a project that we have done in bits and pieces in Hutchinson's history, but this is the first time that we're doing kind of a comprehensive, larger scale project, known by the acronym CIPP, Cured in Place Pipe. And this is lining existing sewer pipe that's already installed underground, and we can avoid road closures and avoid tearing up the road. So we'll be asking for the preparation of plans and specs and taking this out for bid. We have, because this is kind of our first large-scale comprehensive project like this, we are learning a little bit about unit pricing and kind of how much we can budget. And so we have a base bid of Dale Street and K Street, and then a series of alternates, and so we can kind of accept the award appropriately. And in future years, you may remember we just paved Dale Street last year. In future years, we want to get ahead of the CIPP, ahead of paving projects. So this year, it's a little bit of a catch-up. So cured in place pipe, it's basically a method of installing a pipe inside of a pipe. So first we'll have a contractor, and there's a number of contractors in Minnesota that do this type of work. But first they'll clean out the pipe, televise it, get it real nice and clean, and then ultimately they slide a liner through the pipe, and the liner can be pulled with a cable, it can be blown in with air pressure, it can be wrapped in a bladder and it kind of slid in, and then the bladder expanded, but either air pressure, water pressure, the bladder is expanded to take the shape of the pipe, and when it's held at that pressure, and then it's cooked, it's baked, and the resins in the pipe, the bag is shown here, it's kind of pre-treated with resins, and it hardens in place. And so ultimately we will allow the contractor to kind of choose their methodology, kind of what suits them. What we're really looking for is the pipe inside of a pipe. And I'll show some pictures of that. These projects are usually a crew of maybe 4 to 6 folks and a couple of vehicles. And one of the vehicles is usually some sort of box truck assembly where they'll have the liner and then they'll feed it down into the manhole. And so here's a couple of examples. And I wanted to show this so the public kind of has a sense of what to look for when their street has this type of work. Usually the road can stay open. They can have the lanes in each direction on either side of the vehicles. And they will go from segment to segment. So I kind of expanded the section here on Dale Street. So here's a manhole. It flows to the north, in this case, to this manhole. So this would be a segment. So on this Dale stretch, we have 5 different segments. And that type of work can probably be done in a day or two. Where there's segments where it's where a dead end and then down, they will just have to work diligently because there will be some, they will have to get the liner in and then get the services reconnected so there's not backups to the residences. And then when there's other segments like segment 2 where you have an upstream section and a downstream section, they can bypass around them if they want. And it kind of just depends on how many residences or businesses are served on that section. So if they set up a bypass, it would just be simply plugging the pipe, running a pump, and bypassing it around their work area. We prepared the plans and calling out the different segments and kind of leaving the order of operations up to them. When the liner is expanded in place, there's different ways to kind of cure that pipe, and it just has to do with what types of resins they choose. What is most common is steam curing and UV light, because that's simply the quickest. So they can blow the liner up, and just get the hot temperatures with the steam and the resin will cure. Or you might have seen some of the wood stain finishes that are UV treated, and you just pass that UV line across them and they set up instantly. Same with this. The picture on the right shows UV light just being pulled and it just cures in a matter of seconds. So that is the fastest. It's also the most expensive, so it's up to them to kind of pick their operations. Ultimately, what we're looking for is a pipe inside of a pipe. And everybody likes to see before and after pictures, so here's your before and afters. Now, the number one question we get is, what about the services coming in from the residences or from the businesses when we blow up the pipe and have that cured liner? We take note of that before the project during the camera sections and log where these are all coming in. And then after the pipe cures, we send robots up there and cut out that little passageway or that little connection then for the residents. So usually you can see that with a little dimple. And as that cured pipe expands, it will try to kind of fill that void, and you'll see the little dimple in there, and then you kind of know right where to cut. And then we will record the contractor to camera the whole line afterwards too, so they kind of show their before and after. This project is 100% funded with the sewer fund. No assessments for this type of work, and we lowered our engineering fee because the plans are pretty minimal. We're just kind of calling out manhole to manhole and kind of letting the contractor choose their staging. And since this is our first comprehensive project like this, we are kind of giving them a larger window, so we're going to give them to the end of the year. This work can be done during the winter. That's also an incentive to use the UV curing, but we're asking for this project to be done by the end of December, and so they can have those different methodologies. They can do steam curing in the wintertime too. It just takes a little bit longer. So with that, I will answer any questions.
Brian, what's the thickness that this coat's going to have on a pipe?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say it's in the realm of 1/4 inch to maybe 3/8 of an inch. And we can spec that in our specs, and it has to do with the diameter of the existing pipe. So as your existing pipe gets bigger, your liner thickness has to get thicker. But ultimately, the pipe that is inside is structural, and it's so as the older pipe kind of deteriorates in place, you're left with a structural pipe.
Sure.
Right.
How do we kind of call out those specs if we're allowing the companies to kind of choose their method? How does that get written in their
So the
specs?
so there's standard practice as far as existing diameter and existing pipe materials, and then the thickness of the bags and the resin material needed, and then but the curing method is up to them. So they can, it's kind of poundage per foot, so to speak. So you could say you need to apply X amount of resin in your bag, that your bag liner that's Y inches thick, and then the curing method that meets that. So ultimately, they will submit this, and we'll compare that with the specifications. So we're giving them those tables of saying these are all the different possibilities, and it's a numbers game for the contractor, and what the different costs of the different resins are at the time.
Okay, thank you.
What's the life expectancy of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is about the same as a normal pipe, and because it's plastic, we expect it to be even more. It's like a PVC type lifespan, so in that 80 to 100 year range.
Is this something that's planned for all our city streets, or?
So this year will just be these segments, but this is the first of kind of a dedicated funding for this type of project, and we hope to, you'll probably be seeing a similar presentation in future years. We hope to kind of, as we learn more, to kind of, do the 2026 project, the 2027 project, and kind of get ahead and obviously target, the worst areas first.
I mean, so really, I think Pat, you raised a good question, and I think it's a good point. It's a method of us to save money for residents, really. I mean,
Right.
if you think about in the past, you've had to replace a pipe every 30, 40 years. This may be a game changer where it's 100 years that you're looking to change.
Right, and we hope to get ahead of our road construction projects. So if we would have a really problematic area, we would know it, and then we could catch it on that next year cycle where we would have to spot dig in places. Unfortunately, we're just a little bit behind on Dale Street. And, but yeah, as we kind of get ahead, we will know, we already are, proactively cameraing, recording these areas. It's just kind of lining up and prioritizing across the city.
I know, I think you talked about this at resource allocation, right? About this here, how damaged can the pipes be before this can't do it this way?
So as you are providing this first phase where you're kind of jetting out the pipes, cleaning it out, prepping it for this liner, that's when you kind of learn that, if you have a good candidate or not. If the pipe is too far gone, or if there's a joint that has become dislodged, misaligned, then it might not be a good segment. So we picked our segments based on what we think are good candidates. The general roots, the general kind of hairline cracks, those can be treated. When you have that misalignment or you have gaps or structural failures, then you have to dig it up.
Did you say, is it the same people doing the liner that'll be doing the roto-rootering or whatever you call it, cleaning out the, or is it a different company?
This will be probably a company that offers all of these services, and some of these companies stay local, some of these companies travel all over the Midwest, and so they'll probably show up with several pieces of equipment. They'll have lots of different types of equipment based on liner size and depth. They might have different hoists or like kind of smaller cranes. They'll come with a lot of different of their curing techniques and their kind of cutting tools to kind of just have that at their disposal, and are kind of just working their way across their segments. And that's why we're trying to be flexible with our timeline too, because trying to see, it's pretty common for municipalities to maybe do a CIP letting a year, but we don't really know what our neighbors are up to this year, so trying to kind of use economies of scale and fitting it in when they're in the area to our benefit.
But we're not going out for two separate bins, one to clean the pipe and another one to...
Correct. They'll be here, they'll mobilize once, they'll bang it out, and then we'll be left, and we're kind of learning, and we'll apply that knowledge to next year.
Looking at all these robots that they're starting to use for everything, the kids that are good on the old game stations will have a good place to go to work here.
Yeah, there you go. Right, yeah, because you have a person in the camera truck and joysticks, and it's a real life video game.
Any other questions?
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll open up for public comment.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Pat to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. So we have two resolutions underneath there. Motion to
approve both, 16021 and 16022.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Tim to approve both resolutions. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Are there any Parks, Recreation, and Community Education year-end report? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. I'm here tonight to present the 2025 annual report for Parks, Recreation, and Community Education. Just included our mission statement. Hutchinson Parks, Recreation, and Community Education provides a comprehensive system of facilities, programs, and open spaces to enhance the quality of life for all people who live, work, and play in Hutchinson. We strive to work cooperatively, be highly organized, practice good stewardship, and have a positive attitude in all we do. Every year we send out 3 brochures that provide the community with information about all the programs, facilities, and activities that we have going. We send a winter, spring, a summer, and a fall brochure. This is one of the things that we've kind of been evaluating over the years to see if we should go strictly online or continue to send them. Just pulled the number, and we actually send out 8,632 brochures per cycle. So it's a lot of brochures that we're sending out, but they also have very valuable information for the community. This year came with a lot of staff changes. I would like to note that we ended 2025 on a high note, and we were completely fully staffed, which we hadn't been in a couple of years. But we had a couple of retirements. Jody Harms retired, which shifted Leslie Alberts into a full-time position as our administrative specialist for Parks, Rec, and Community Ed. Lindsay Hutchinson joined our team as our full-time rec and aquatics programmer in June. That was the position we had created a couple years ago and had a really hard time filling. Our recreation manager resigned in June, and Christina Burmeister was appointed into that position, opening up her current position as our PRC facilities and operations specialist, which opened up an opportunity for an internal departmental shift. Sam Schober came over to fulfill that role, and then we had 2 parks maintenance positions that were also filled from vacancies. One of our staff relocated to Florida, and then the other was with all the shifting. So we were very excited to be fully staffed at the end of the year. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is all of our collaboration that we do within our department. And a lot of what we do is through sponsorships and donations throughout the community from businesses, organizations, and also individuals. And I should note it's not just monetary sponsorships and donations, but it's also volunteer time that we rely heavily on as well to get a lot done. Just included on the screen is our total donation and sponsorships was $72,409, and that does not include any of the donations that go straight into our capital projects or community improvement fund. So that's just our general fund for PRCE. So that goes straight into the aquatic center, the civic arena, the parks department, water park, senior center. So we really are thankful for all of our partners that we do have. Some big projects that we undertook this year, we brought in Frank the Tank, which was a really exciting thing for our department, helping save time and money, improve our field quality, our efficiencies for staff. This was a great addition. So again, robots really do have taken over in our field as well. And this has been a really great addition. Just cost savings for staff, but then also for paint as well too. The picture at the top is from the Data Reach Camp at the Hutchinson High School. And Frank the Tank did paint the Saving Lives Reach logo. So it has the capability to do more than just fields. Another really big project in 2025 at Veterans Memorial Field project, collaboration with the Hutchinson Huskies. It wasn't just the grandstand, we did a lot of other things within this project. So the grandstand was the largest part of it, but we also enhanced landscaping. The lighting was completed in 2024. We put a bunch of money into the restrooms, making them ADA and making them a lot more user-friendly for the experience. New speakers and sound system, a brand new entrance walk gate, and then some of the adjacent buildings and then the buildings within the complex were also updated, just visually repainted, resided to make the complex really look completed. And the Huskies were a big part of this project. The city received a total donation of $134,882 from the Huskies, and then we'll get the final $50,000 donation in 2026 to complete this project. The Huskies had the state tournament this year, and they reported 9,261 people in attendance for the overall tournament in Hutchinson. And then with the other locations in there, the tournament reached 23,744 participants. So a really great turnout for the state tournament, and lots of compliments on how the field and the project turned out. Another project we wrapped up in 2025 was our DNR Prairie Maintenance Grant. We received the grant in 2022, and then it was a couple of years to get the monies utilized, but we focused on Roberts Park, Miller Woods, Riverside, and East River Park. We completed in 2025, and then we actually just reapplied for this grant here in early 2026. So we're hopeful we'll get it again, and then hopefully be able to continue our prairie maintenance efforts through those grant dollars. New this year, we found out there was a really cool tracking mechanism for the disc golf course. So I thought I'd share some highlights with this. So this isn't all encompassing, it's just the people that use the app. But we've heard people say, you know, South Park's never used or it has low usage, but we are finding out that there are a lot of people that utilize the disc golf course, and then they go onto this UDisc app, and it tracks the number of unique players, the holes, and the throws. And so there was a total tracked hours, or total rounds played was 625. Total hours was 472 hours. And this was just logged through the app. And then it tracks the busiest month, the busiest day. September was the busiest month. And then actually the busiest day, 59 rounds of disc golf were played on Saturday, September 20th. So kind of cool data that we can watch as we make improvements to the park as well, and then also just to have that collaboration with the disc golf group because we know there is a lot of usage at that park. Just wanted to note some of our larger parks projects. This isn't all of them that were completed, but just a few. We added a new bike fixing station at the depot. Roberts Park parking lot got seal coated and new lines. We put a new trail in Kimberly Park, connecting that neighborhood to the loose line. There was an RC track constructed on the old terrain bike park in Tartan Park. Fireman's Park got a really nice ADA accessible sidewalk around the perimeter of the playground. We installed a new playground at Oddfellows Park, which is pictured up on the screen. Some trail lighting on the south side of the sanctuary. Harrington Merrill with a volunteer group and Historic Hutch. We did a lot of work on that site. And then when the Vietnam Wall Memorial exhibit was here at McLeod Veterans Park, we actually got 2 of the panels from that display. They donated them to the Veterans Group, and they are now installed at McLeod County Veterans Park, which was really cool. We were the only community to ever receive those panels when they've been traveling around. They donated them to the city. Shelter rentals continue to be a very popular thing. We have lots of shelters that people are able to rent throughout Hutchinson. The depot is always our most popular with 183 rentals throughout the year. And then some of our other popular ones are Elks Park, Rotary, Kiwanis, Oddfellows, Northwoods, but we have a lot of usage and a lot of people in our community renting the parks. Birch Arena, we did all new advertising panels on the north wall instead of on the dasher boards, which was a really good change for us. We work really closely with Gartner Refrigeration. They've been doing some comprehensive analysis of both of our refrigeration systems in our arenas, and they've been a really good help to make sure that our systems are appropriately running. And we've also done some upgrades to get them on the network, so we have real-time data from both of our ice rinks. So when we know that there's an issue, we know right away. Skate school continues to be a really popular piece of what we do at PRCE. Lots of kids in our skate school. We run the TOTS, Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma, and Pre-Alpha. And that we've been able to extend that not just within the winter, but also offer a spring and a summer for our skate school program as well, too. There was 2,426 hours of ice time sold between the two ice arenas. That's pretty steady. If you see the chart on the screen, it's similar to the past years. I know we've had a couple of years where a couple of the sheets of ice have been down just for maintenance, but we've stayed pretty steady on the amount of ice that we've sold. If you drive by the arena, we have a brand new message board sign, which is really, really nice. So that's pictured on there as well too. And that was a big thanks to the Birch Family Foundation that they funded that sign. And then we just continue to collaborate with all our user groups at the ice arena. We know that there's more of a want for ice time than we can offer. So just trying to work collaboratively with the groups on building safety practices, policies, and just contracts to make it the best experience for everybody. Rec programming is a big part of what we do. We've been working on adjusting programs to align formats for participant age groups, really working on developing partner contracts and agreements. We overhauled our sponsorship program, and then just trying to work on our communication for families when things are canceled or things are changed, because there's always ways to do that better. And then thanks to Hutchinson Health, they sponsored free indoor youth and family open gym for the 4th year in a row. And that's been a really heavily utilized program for the community. So we're thankful for that partnership as well. Some of the things that we offer for our youth program, basketball, flag football, tackle football, gymnastics, travel soccer, fall soccer, indoor soccer, t-ball, and tiger ball. Our most heavily utilized program is our indoor soccer with 201 participants, but those numbers have stayed pretty steady throughout the years as well too. We're a big feeder program into the associations and then also high school athletics. So we work really closely to align our youth programs with the coaches as well. Adult programs, we've seen changes over the years on what we offer. Slow pitch softball has kind of started to dwindle again, but pickleball has taken that place. There's also a lot of usage and want for more sand volleyball and indoor volleyball for adults. So those teams continue to be very strong in offering of those. I know one of the programs that we can never offer enough is the adult volleyball leagues. We just don't have the gym space to offer more. So we did have a wait list this year for teams, which is good. And then we actually had a very heavy interest in a potential adult basketball league, a 3-on-3 league. So we are working with some community members to get that going. So hopefully in 2026, we'll be able to offer that as a program for adults as well too. And then again, pickleball remains to be extremely high, lots of usage at the rec center and then also at Park Elementary courts. The aquatic center is always a popular place in the summer for us, very busy. We sell a lot of memberships. The biggest one was a family of 3 membership. We sold 278 of those throughout the summer. And then you can see that we offer a wide variety of memberships for families. And then we continue to sell just day admissions as well too. So just looking at just strictly our standard admission, we sold 14,235 just regular admissions. That's not tracking how many times the past goers come and all that. That's just $8 admissions. And then we also offer private rentals. We had 20 of those. Thanks to Hutchinson Health and Common Cup, we offered 6 free family swim nights again. And the total attendance for just those nights was 2,113 people on those 6 nights. So those are really popular as well too, offering that free evening for families that maybe can't afford to come to the aquatic center as much as they'd like. Swim lessons, we always hear that we don't offer enough, but we do what we can. And we had 581 participants in swim lessons at Carlson Pool. We're hoping to up that number this year as well too. We shortened the time in between classes to offer a few more classes for the community to fit that need. So hopefully that will go well for that and we can offer more to the community. Another part under Parks, Rec, and Community Education is the Senior Center. I'm going to just share, Jenny Barrett is our Senior Center programmer, and she wrote a really nice, I won't read the whole thing, it's included in the annual report if you want to read it, but One of the things that when we look to the future of the senior center is we look at numbers and people coming into the senior center, which is really important, the data. But there really is such a need for a place for the seniors to come and be connected. And she did a really good job of writing it down, what it's like to do her job. So being a senior center programmer is so much more than planning activities or filling a calendar. It's about showing up, especially when no one else does. It's being there for the seniors who may feel invisible, forgotten, or alone. It's knowing that sometimes the most important program you offer isn't a class, game, or an event. It's your time and your presence. A senior center programmer is a listener before anything else. You notice when someone lingers after an activity, not quite ready to go home. You sit with them, you listen to their stories, their worries, their grief, and their joys. You become a familiar face they trust, a steady voice in a world that they can feel like it's moving too fast without them. And then one of the stories that she told me, a 95-year-old man would come in every day and he would ask her for help with his smartphone, and he could not figure it out. And she would sit with him for hours to figure out the smartphone because he wanted to call his kids and his grandkids and all that. And she actually just went to his funeral not that long ago, but the connection that those two had was really remarkable. So I think when we look to the future of the senior center and the event center, this is a big thing to remember, that it's not just people coming in and the numbers and the data, but it's really a place for people to go to feel connected, to have these activities, and then that Jenny just gets to be that person to fill that for everybody, and the connection that she has with them is just great. So there's more to it if you want to read it. It's included in the annual report, but I shared it with the advisory board as well too when we met there and talked about just different programming and things that happen. The last part of our department is community education. There's a lot of things that go into community education. This is all funded through the school district, but we offer, really it's the womb to tomb, providing opportunities educationally for the community and then also district facilities. But just in summary, we run a little bit different for community ed. We run the school year July 1 to June 30th. But we offered 237 activities and camps with 5,798 participants. So this is cooking classes, science classes, adult Lego classes, like just a wide variety of all the different classes that we offer. There's so many things within our book. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. And we are always taking in new instructors that have a skill that they want to share with the community. So if you have a special talent that you'd like to share, we'd love to put a class out there for somebody. And we have really upped the amount of classes that we offer and the variety that we have. Our community education coordinator, Amy Sheely, does a really good job of finding some new things to keep trying. And we've had some great community support for those classes as well. This is just a comparison of some of the camps and classes from 2024 to 2025. New classes in 2025, classes and camps offered was 266 this year. The year before was 197. Participation is also up from last year to this year, 2,236 to 2,837. So we're seeing a growth in people taking our classes as well too, which is great. Again, lots of different classes offered. The pictures that are shown was the ladies' Lego night on the top, and then the kids was an art class that kids were participating in. So such a variety of things to do. And then the open swim at the bottom, the comparisons from 2023, 2024, and 2025, that was our open swim nights during the winter, and we offer those at Carlson Pool. And again, those numbers have been growing drastically, thanks to Hutchinson Health also sponsoring those to make them free. So in 2025, we had 1,075 people participate in open swim, which is a great opportunity for the community in the winter. The other part of what we do for communities is district facilities. So we offer and track all of the usage in the school district buildings. And then one of the things I just wanted to note, we're transitioning our registration and facility scheduling system right now from Bound from Arbiter. And this is what's used internally with the school, externally with Wright County Conference, and then any external users that rent the internal district facility building. So that'll be a big transition and a change. And then one of the things we did in 2025 was worked with the associations to help bring down the cost for facility usage, because custodial costs are high, building usage is high. So we worked through an agreement and a waiver to help with those associations to bring down costs to make it more affordable. And then just to note, also in community ed, we work directly with the activities director for the school for middle level activities. So that's your 6th, 7th, and 8th grade sports and arts. So that's underneath community ed. And then under community ed is also adult basic education. So we work very closely with Ridgewater College to offer ABE, which would be GED program, and then just adult classes for people that want to learn specific skills. And then we also have the early childhood family education that's at West Elementary, but those all fall under the umbrella of community education. Any questions about 2025? There was a lot that we covered. It was 42 pages to read if you read it from front to back. 2026, looking forward, lots of more projects that we're going to complete. Big one is Roberts Park, our lighting project. There's some solar projects at various PRC locations. We're going to finally finish the Library Square fountain. Pat, we'll get that done, I promise.
I've been watching.
Yeah, no, I figured. We have an AFS park signage project with the Community Foundation that they're funding. North Park will get a new playground, and that's a split between the school and the city. And that will get installed in the summer months when the kids are not at school. Looking at some collaboration with HYBA for an outdoor basketball court, collaborating with Hutchinson Junior League Baseball Association for a potential batting cage at Northwoods Park. We're going to do some updating of our park trails and maps, potential funding through SHIP and Hutchinson Health Foundation. We're working with the Chamber and Hutchinson Center for the Arts on the Downtown Banner Project. They have the designs in and they have to go to vote, but they're not quite done yet. The West Rink is getting new rubber flooring, and then actually already got new HVAC for the locker room, so that's completed. We're looking at upgrading the sound systems, not just in the East Rink, but actually the East and the West. So we're working through the funding right now for that. There's some repairs to the Aquatic Center that are going to happen before we open for the season. And then the school campus, they just finalized phase 2 and 3 for the irrigation project to help with our school fields. And there's probably a lot more, but those are some of the big ones. Any questions?
Lynn, we did a couple times ago, I guess, we talked about the bike rodeo, and in my mind, I should have said it, I was kind of thinking that it'd be a bike rodeo that would include, education on electric bikes and scooters. So I don't know if you got something planned or if we could get something done with that education piece of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple things coming up here in regards to like e-bikes, e-scooters, and then just biking in general. So May is National Bike Month. So there will actually be a proclamation coming at our next council meeting. We've done that every year, recognizing that May is National Bike Month. There is an event that the Bike and Pedestrian Committee do every year, a Bike and Walk to School event. And so that is Wednesday, May 6th, I think, is the date on that. I think that's right. So we'll do that at Park Elementary and then New Discoveries. So that will be kind of an education awareness bike to school event. And then we've talked about doing a whole educational campaign in May because it's National Bike Month. Really hitting on the e-bikes, e-scooters, encouraging people to get out and get active. But the biggest thing is education, which we've talked about. And so we're really planning to hit that hard in May.
That would be excellent. Any other questions for?
What do you do in your spare time?
There's not a whole lot of it.
Thank you, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Moving on, unfinished business, we have second reading and adoption of ordinance number 26-873, ordinance vacating a portion of the easement located near 1011 and 1021 and 1081 Golf Course Road Northwest.
Mayor and Council, this is a second reading of the ordinance. There hasn't been any changes to the ordinance since our first reading, and staff would recommend approval of it.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Tim to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Second reading and adoption of ordinance number 26-874, ordinance vacating a portion of the right-of-way located near 244th Avenue Northeast.
Once again, this is a second reading of the ordinance. There hasn't been any changes to the ordinance since the first reading was conducted at our last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Dave to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Under new business, authorizing a lease space to Cannabis Chem Lab Minnesota LLC at the Hutchinson Enterprise Center. Afternoon, Miles.
Mr. Mayor? Okay. There we go. Okay, we're going to make this real quick. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I have two items for your consideration, and I'm just going to present them both together, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. So we're going to knock this out. So we have a new company that's interested in coming to Hutchinson. They wanted to lease space at the Enterprise Center. It's called Cannabis Chem Lab. This is a laboratory testing company. What they do is they test and ensure the safety, quality, and integrity of products made out of cannabis. Testing and analysis, that's what they do. So a laboratory kind of a thing. They want to lease 8,000 square feet and some offices at the Enterprise Center. The EDA's looked at this, and we're looking at, probably doing a 2-year lease with them with an option to extend, and then they would come in, if approved by the council, there would be about a month where they would be making some leasehold improvements and potentially be starting this thing in May, or late May, I should say. Job creation would be 8 jobs immediately, and then within 2 years that would ramp up to about 24. This would be a different type of jobs than what we're used to. They're not manufacturing jobs per se. This is microbiologists, it's chemists, it's lab technicians. Compensation you can see there on the right, it'd be $70,000 to $80,000 for most of the jobs, and then $20 or $25 an hour for the lab technicians. So pretty respectable wages, especially for McLeod County. Average or per capita income here is $41,000. This year's almost double that. So pretty good income. The biggest thing is that a lot of these are just new people that would be relocating to Hutchinson. The owner is buying a house on the north end of town, and they're hiring staff from all over the place. They would be moving to Hutchinson, which would be a big gain for us and a big gain for the school system. We built the Enterprise Center. I mean, the real focus of it was manufacturing. This is not manufacturing, so we are branching out a little bit. But we think it's good for the community. We're just going to bring in a different type of jobs and different kind of company. So they would be at the Enterprise Center for a couple years. They need to be incubated because this is new. They do have an existing lab company in South Dakota, but it's very small. And so this has taken everything that they've been doing in South Dakota really times 10 here in Minnesota. So I think that's all I'm going to say about that. Kind of companion with this, and I'll just present this now, we would ask the council to okay that we decertify the TIF district that's over the Enterprise Center now. And the reasons for doing this is that when we first built the Enterprise Center, which is almost 10 years ago, we did an economic development TIF district that has a limited uses for the type of company you can have, and mostly manufacturing and warehouse. So Cannabis Chem Lab's not manufacturing, So that means we would have to take down the existing TIF district, which is really probably no big deal because we're really pretty close to the end of the TIF district anyway. The TIF district didn't do what we wanted it to do, so there hasn't really been a significant gain. It hasn't really helped us as much as we thought it would. But the proposal would be just to get rid of this existing TIF district. That opens the Enterprise Center up to other types of companies like Cannabis Chem Lab, and then it puts the Enterprise Center back on the tax rolls, which would be good. And then kind of companion with that would be council considering forgiveness of an interfund loan. When we set up this TIF district, when the Enterprise Center was built, the way it's supposed to work is that the TIF district was going to capture the property tax revenue generated by the Enterprise Center, and that was going to be used to pay for soil corrections when we built the thing. But we had to front that money. That money came from the Shopko TIF district, and then the TIF district at the Enterprise Center was going to repay that over the course of 8-9 years. That didn't really work out. The Shopko TIF district, that was a bunch of dollars that had accumulated over many years from the Shopko and Wells Fargo redevelopments in the 1990s. So this is really old district that was there. At the end of the day, the Shopko TIF district dollars were used as intended. It was for redevelopment. It was for economic development. So the dollars actually went to where they were supposed to go. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. So we're asking for to adopt a resolution to decertify the TIF district at the Enterprise Center, and then along with that, forgive this interfund loan. And then the second piece would be just to approve the lease, the master relationship, and non-disclosure agreement between the city and Cannabis Chem Lab. Any questions? That's a lot of details, but.
How much is the interfund loan?
Pardon?
How much is the interfund loan? Or how much was it originally?
I'm gonna say it was about, I wanna say it's about 137,000, and there's probably 100 still hanging out on that. As I mentioned, the Shopko TIF district was set up in the early 1990s, way before my time. Over the years, that had accumulated a very sizable fund balance because that TIF district performed really well. Shopko got built, they paid their property taxes, those property taxes were captured. It offset all of the costs involved with the Shopko redevelopment, and then the dollars actually kept piling up. So what we said, well, we can use these dollars to further other redevelopment projects in the city. Biggest user of the dollars went for where the landing is now. That was how we bought the medical building that was there originally and got it demoed. And then also the group home that used to be across the street from that. So there were redevelopment dollars that went for a redevelopment purpose. And then we also used that pool of dollars to kind of front the money that we needed to make the soil corrections at the Enterprise Center. So, I don't know if that answers that question.
Miles, can you touch on the fact that the company has actually already purchased a building in town, and part of the reason for their lease is that they need some time to get that ready, but really need to start operations?
Correct, yep, there's multiple chapters to this story. So Cannabis Chem Lab did buy the old New Dimension plating on 3rd Avenue Northwest.
That thing's in tough shape.
That is an understatement.
Yeah,
And so
if you've ever been in it, it's scary.
it's something else. So the company, they had probably not a proper appreciation of what it would take to renovate this building and make it usable for their purposes. So they thought this was just going to be a couple month deal, and it's nowhere near that. And so they have a contractor on board that they're working with, but it's just going to take a chunk of time to get this building into any kind of shape. that would be usable. In the meantime, Cannabis Chem Lab, they need to get going as fast as possible because they've already got people hired. They've got customers lining up all over the place. They've got equipment needs to get delivered. Don't really know where to go with it. So we're going to kind of bail them out. And, you know, we really do need to put them in an incubation environment because they know the laboratory stuff. They probably need a little boost when it comes to the business side of the operation, and that's where we would come in and say, yep, let's get you hooked up with Small Business Development Center. Bring your, let's boost the business acumen because that's going to set the stage for long-term success. So they're going to be at the if the council approves, they would be at the Enterprise Center for a couple years and then theoretically slide down to that building, and we'll see about that. I'm a little dubious.
Or another location.
Right, yes.
Any other questions for Miles? All right, let's do the lease first. The lease space, the Cannabis Labs.
I make a motion to approve the lease.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Pat to approve the lease. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, resolution number 16018, resolution approving the decertification of tax increment financing district number 4-17 within municipal development district number 4 and authorizing the forgiveness of interfund loan for tax increment financing district number 4-17.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Dave to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Miles.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
We have minutes, reports, and committee boards or commissions, pedestrian and bicycle advisory committee minutes of 2025. Park and Rec Community Education Advisory Board minutes from March 2nd, 2026. Liquor Hutch Quarterly Report. Mike, you got anything for us?
Just one thing I'll mention. Brandon reminded me of this. Our Public Works Department next week is hosting a kind of a regional APWA meeting for area public works departments with about 40 guests coming, about 18 different communities represented. So it's a really nice opportunity. A lot of our smaller communities, but including Warren and Wall, some coming as far as Belle Plaine, will be here. We're hosting it out at the Events Center. Will be basically kind of a morning discussion, presentation, some question and answer discussion items, and then offering tours. That'll be a nice kind of an outreach effort. APWA is sponsoring it, so it's a no-cost event for the city as well as those taking part, and hoping to make it an annual event. So just wanted to mention that.
Well, I want to thank you for having the patch crews out on South Jefferson.
Yes, they started their skin patching out there. We had a small project out at the cemetery, and they took the excess material each day over there. And we'll see. The hope is that buys us a couple of years, and then depending on how that microsurface project we did just to the north of it, we'll determine if there's a bigger project there or again just that limited portion between Century and Midland. But should hold up certainly through this season at this point.
The streets held up pretty good from frost boils this year. I haven't noticed any and haven't had any calls. I don't know if you guys had any calls or not, but.
Well, and actually the calls we've gotten involved in related to the mall area and that service drive. We've had several calls and emails about that. We've kind of directed them back to state that it's private property, so we've clarified that. About the only real blow-up frost boil we've seen is over on McNaughton on the west portion near Barley. Had a pretty sizable one. That's a street that's scheduled for a project in about 3 years. So again, a patch should take care of it. But that's really the only notable one we've seen. Several potholes, or a number of potholes from town. But yeah, the crew is out doing it and then sweeping at the same time.
Is that still owned, is that mall still owned by a company from out east? Wasn't that what it was?
I think so. Yeah.
We should find out their number. I'd love to
And just
post
pass it on?
Yeah, I'll post it on Real Life and Hutch, because I'd gladly do it. I'd like a name that I can.
It's the one, call or comment on it. We've had 2 this week just on it. We've had a few.
It is nasty. It's, it's
Did
probably,
you tell them it's just a speed bump? We're trying to slow traffic down?
We didn't try to play it.
mechanics gotta love it because of wheel bearings.
All right, thanks, Mike. Mark, you got anything for us?
Nothing else tonight?
Matt, what do you have?
A couple things. One of our 2 citywide holidays, the spring cleanup is this Saturday. So just a reminder, have items out by 6 a.m. and it's 2 items per single family residential. It's essentially those that pay utility bills. I know a lot of times we have questions from multifamily complexes, apartments, and I think it's just a reminder that when somebody's paying a utility bill from the city, those costs are helping to pay for this collection. And most of the time, apartments and multifamily are not included, and that's why they are not included in the pickup, because it's actually is being covered by user rates. So, but that's this Saturday. For those of you that are on the negotiating committee, just a reminder, we have mediation on Monday with our police officers union. And then just another heads up, a reminder that at 4 o'clock before our next council meeting, we'll be having a workshop on sales tax. So that's it for me otherwise.
And for the weight pickup, scrappers are welcome.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Yeah, scrappers are welcome, so, yeah. So
You're lucky and somebody grabs it, put another item
put
out.
another item out, so. All right. Pat, let's start with you tonight.
I had a public arts meeting last Wednesday, and we're still short a person. And Justin Beck, who's been running that for quite a while, since basically Steve Cook stepped down, he's going to be relinquishing his role. So we need another person to come forward. And honestly, they'll if they'd like to, they could get thrust right into that leadership role. Which honestly, it's a pretty neat board, not very tough to do, pretty easy, well laid out. We did have Alexis Ammerman Hogan. I don't know, Melissa, did she get in it? Did you notice an app come through that she wants to? So I've got a phone call to make. She was at the meeting, maybe as a potential new person, and so again, the sculpture stroll, everything else. The ones are coming down. The other ones, hopefully, they'll be up by Memorial Weekend. It's artists, so sometimes they have different schedules that fit, but that's our goal. That was it.
All right, thanks, Pat. Chad.
I just had a Parks Board meeting and we kind of got a replay of that, so I didn't have anything to add.
Nothing to report on that?
Nothing to report, so Lynn seemed to cover it.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Timmy.
We have a sustainability committee meeting coming up on the 20th, right here. So we're happy to get that, get updated on the sustainability of our community and the assets we have for that, and especially the water runoff programs or those kind of things. So that's the big news moving forward. So
Thanks, Timmy. Dave.
We had MMDC, which is Mid-Minnesota Development Commission, which has 26 or 7 commissioners that sit on it through the 4-county area. And that was a week ago, that'd be a week ago tomorrow night. And discussion is still transportation, elderly, food, and businesses, of course, because we have an incubator to help establish businesses. And then training that goes along with that, and transportation, of course, and housing. And so it's multiple. We have all kinds of people that sit on that commission, from education to cities over 10,000 to counties, townships, and whatever else that they represent. So, and it's a good meeting. It's recorded. I don't think it's ever televised as far as I'm concerned, but it's recorded. So MMBC may have something on their webpage that would relate to that. So it's a good session, and it talks about many, many things when it comes right down to it. So.
All right, thanks, Dave.
I can't think of anything else.
You can't think nothing else? No. Well, I did have a couple people reach out to me about, I guess the pedestrians not getting yield to in the crosswalks and stuff, so, just be aware of, it's getting nice out, so we're gonna have a lot more bikers, walkers, everybody, but please pay attention of, especially young kids, don't want anybody getting hurt, so, but Pat, I have something for you. We have somebody, Julie Johansson wants to be on the library board, so if it'd be all right with you, I would like to put her on the library board and we'll have that for next meeting.
Yeah, they'll have a full house then, or at least get back to where they were on having seats filled.
One other thing, Gary.
Oh,
Well, with the nice weather, if parents would, Kim and I talked about this before the meeting, and it's not just the e-bikes, it's the scooters. Parents, remind your kids to pay attention to just today I saw them blasting across by Walgreens, and it's scary. I mean, those things are so quick, and just if the parents, you need to take a big role in making sure your kids know and that you know what these little scooters will do. My concern is safety for the kids,
yeah. Well,
you just see a ton of them as this weather gets nice, and if I was a kid, I'd want one of those, but I mean, just if they can obey the laws.
What's amazing is it's statewide, it's all.
Yeah, wherever
it is. Yeah. I mean,
Parent Tribune just did an article a little while ago.
and when you see kids walking along on their phones and not paying attention where they're walking it.
Or on their scooters and their phones.
Yeah, right, exactly, so.
Legislature has, got something coming up on their agenda for that. But it sounds like it ain't gonna happen till June or July.
Apparently, so we'll see if there's
Just pay attention.
anything done, so.
Alrighty, with that, everybody enjoy the weather.
Motion to adjourn.
Yep. Motion by Pat, second by Chad to adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No.
Carried.